รายการต่อไปนี้เป็นรายการทั่วไปสามารถรับชมได้ทุกวัย
สวัสดีค่ะชื่อไชยพานนะคะ วันนี้จะมาสอนวิชาภาษาอังกฤษด้วยเครื่องหมายหมายตอนค่ะ
Punctuation is the mark that used in writing to separate sentences. The basic sign of the punctuation. The first one is period. Periods always be used to end a sentences. For example, I am going to school, period. It's also be used to indicate the abbreviation of commonly used words as the following example, such as September, pages. The second one is comma. Comma used to pause before proceeding, separate item on a list, and used when sentence have more than one adjective. For example, the boy who knew that his mom was about to arrive ran quickly toward to open the doors, which means that the sentence within the comma is the adjective of the boy, which is subject. Exclamation mark. The exclamation mark used to indicate the strong feeling. For example, help me, stop. But if the exclamation mark be at the end of the sentence, it means that you don't need to put period anymore. Question mark. It is simply used to indicate that the sentence is asking the question. For example, are you going to the party? Semicolon. It's used when joining two sentences. For example, we set out at dawn, the weather looked promising. It can also be used to assemble detailed lists. For example, the conference was attended by delegates from Paris, France, London, England, Stockholm, Sweden, and Bangkok, Thailand.
It may seem like the semicolon is struggling with an identity crisis. It looks like a comma crossed with a period. Maybe that's why we toss these punctuation marks around like grammatical confetti. We're confused about how to use them properly. In fact, it's the semicolon's half-half status that makes it useful. It's stronger than a comma and less final than a period. It fills the spaces in between. And for that reason, it has some specific and important tasks. For one, it can clarify ideas in a sentence that's already festooned with commas. Semicolons. At first, they may seem frightening. Then, they become enlightening. Finally, you'll find yourself falling for these delightful punctuation marks. Even though the commas separate different parts of the sentence, it's easy to lose track of what belongs where. But then the semicolon edges in to the rescue. In list-like sentences, it can exert more force than commas do, cutting sentences into compartments and grouping items that belong together. The semicolon breaks things up, but it also builds connections. Another of its tasks is to link together independent clauses. These are sentences that can stand on their own, but when connected by semicolons, look and sound better because they're related in some way. Semicolons were once a great mystery to me. I had no idea where to put them. Technically, there's nothing wrong with that. These two sentences can stand alone, but imagine they appeared in a long list of other sentences, all of the same length, each separated by periods. Things would get monotonous very fast. In that situation, semicolons bring fluidity and variation to writing by connecting related clauses. But as beneficial as they are, semicolons don't belong just anywhere. There are two main rules that govern their use. Firstly, unless they're being used in lists, semicolons should only connect clauses that are related in some way. You wouldn't use one here, for instance. Semicolons were once a great mystery to me. I'd really like a sandwich. Periods work best here, because these are two totally different ideas. A semicolon's job is to reunite two independent clauses that will benefit from one another's company because they refer to the same thing. Secondly, You'll almost never find a semicolon willingly stationed before coordinating conjunctions. The words and, but, for, nor, or, so, and yet. That's a comma's place, in fact. But a semicolon can replace a conjunction to shorten a sentence or to give it some variety. Ultimately, this underappreciated punctuation mark can give writing clarity, force, and style, all encompassed in one tiny dot and squiggle that's just waiting to be put in the right place.
Colon make a very polite pause between two phrases. It is most commonly used when listing. For example, she placed the following item into the cart: beer, fruit, cereal, and chocolate. It's also be used within a descriptive trip title. For example, a human resource management guideline for the telephone advisor. Apostrophe is used to indicate possession or ownership. For example, the girl's house was nice. It also indicates where a letter is omitted. For example, this apostrophe means we are quotation mark. It's used to mark out speech and used when quoting someone else's speech. For example, George, don't do that. My dad said, share those snacks with your friends. The hyphen is used to link words together. For example, weekend, 18th century people. For the first one, we put a quotation marks because it is referred to what Jim said. He said that he will be home by 10. For the second question, we put a colon because this is listing. Number 3, also use the colon because this is the chapter of the book. The reason why we put a quotation mark is emphasize the word showboat. And last one, number 5, is used comma because they separate two sentences.
Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home.